If you feel perfectly steady walking around your house during the afternoon, but something feels off when you get up in the dark hours of the night, I want you to know that you are not imagining it and you are definitely not alone. This is one of the most common things I hear from patients in my clinic, and it happens because your brain and your body are operating under completely different rules at night than they are during the day. Your balance system does not simply switch on and off like a light bulb. It relies on a complex partnership between your eyes, your inner ears, your muscles, your blood pressure regulation, and your brain's ability to process all of that information quickly enough to keep you upright. At night, especially when you wake from sleep, almost every one of those systems is compromised in some way, and the result is that balance can feel like it has collapsed, even when nothing is technically wrong with you. The good news is that there are specific, practical things you can do about this, and I am going to walk you through 3 fixes that many of my patients have found genuinely helpful, things you can actually put in place tonight. I am also going to teach you a 30-second bedside test that will show you exactly what is happening when you stand up in the dark, and I will share a one-change lighting trick that makes a bigger difference than most people expect. Stay with me through this whole video, because the final fix, the one about how you actually move through your home at night, is something that almost nobody talks about, and it ties everything together. Before we get into the details, I would love to know who is watching. If you are comfortable, drop your age in the comments and tell me where you are watching from. I find that people from all over the world deal with this exact same challenge, and it helps me understand what resonates with different viewers. If you are a caregiver watching this for a parent or a spouse, type the word caregiver in the comments so I know you are here too, because what I am about to share is just as useful for you to understand as it is for the person you are helping. Now, let me paint a picture of what this actually looks like in real life, because I want you to recognize yourself in these scenarios so you understand that this is not about weakness or aging poorly. This is about biology meeting environment in ways that stack the odds against you. Picture this. It is 2 in the morning, and you wake up because you are thirsty. You do not even need to use the bathroom. You just want a glass of water from the kitchen. You swing your legs over the side of the bed. You stand up, and for a moment, the room feels like it tilts slightly. You grab the nightstand to steady yourself, then you start walking toward the hallway. The hallway is dim, lit only by the faint glow coming from a clock on the microwave in the kitchen far ahead of you. You cannot quite see the edge of the rug. You cannot see the corner of the dresser that sticks out just a little bit past where you thought it was. Your brain is still foggy from sleep, and you find yourself shuffling a little, not fully trusting your feet, not fully trusting the floor. This is not the same person who walked confidently through that hallway at 3 in the afternoon. What changed? Everything changed. And in a moment, I am going to explain exactly why that happens and what you can do about it. Let me break this down in a way that makes intuitive sense. During the day, your balance is supported by what we call the 3 pillars: vision, the vestibular system in your inner ears, and proprioception, which is your body's sense of where it is in space, based on feedback from your muscles and joints. These 3 systems work together constantly, cross-checking each other, compensating for each other, and keeping you stable. Here is what most people do not realize. For many adults over 60, vision becomes the dominant player in this partnership. Your brain has learned to rely more heavily on what your eyes see to confirm that you are balanced and safe. This works beautifully in good lighting, but at night, in dim or uneven light, your vision becomes unreliable. Shadows distort depth perception. Low contrast makes it hard to see where the floor ends and where furniture begins. Glare from a television screen or a bright nightlight can actually make things worse by creating harsh contrasts that confuse your brain. So the very system your brain depends on most is now feeding it incomplete or misleading information. Your inner ears are still working, but they need a moment to calibrate when you first wake up, especially if you have been lying still for hours. And your proprioception, that sense of where your feet are and how your joints are positioned, also takes a few seconds to come fully online after deep sleep. This is something clinicians call sleep inertia, that groggy period right after waking, when your brain is not processing information at full speed. Reaction times are slower, Decision-making is foggier. Your muscles may feel slightly stiff, and if you add in the blood pressure shift that happens when you go from lying flat to standing upright, you can get that lightheaded, floaty sensation that makes you reach for the wall. None of this means something is wrong with you. It means your body needs a moment to catch up, and most people do not give it that moment because they are focused on getting to the kitchen or the bathroom as quickly as possible. There is another layer to this that I want you to understand because it explains why some nights feel worse than others. When you turn your head in the dark, especially quickly or unexpectedly, your inner ear and your neck have to coordinate in a very precise way. If your neck is stiff from sleeping in one position all night, that coordination can feel off. The signal your inner ear sends does not match what your neck muscles expect, and for a split second your brain gets confused about which way is up. This is not vertigo in the medical sense, but it can feel disorienting, like the world shifted just slightly. Combine that with the fact that at night you are often distracted by urgency, by the pressure of needing to get somewhere, by the worry about not waking your partner, or by the annoyance of being awake when you want to be asleep. You might be carrying your phone to use as a flashlight, which means one hand is occupied. You might be looking down at the floor, trying to see obstacles, which changes your head position and throws off your balance further. All of these things stack on top of each other, and the result is that night balance feels dramatically worse than daytime balance, even though your body has not actually changed between 4 in the afternoon and 2 in the morning. Now that you understand what is happening, let me teach you how to interrupt this pattern with practical strategies that actually work. The lighting fix is the one that makes the fastest difference. So let me start there and give you something you can change tonight. Most people think the solution to darkness is simply more light, but that is not quite right. The wrong kind of light at night can actually make balance worse instead of better. A bright overhead light that you flip on when you wake up will do two things that work against you. It will shock your eyes, causing them to constrict quickly, and it will create harsh shadows in corners and near furniture that make it harder to judge distances. What you want instead is low, warm, evenly distributed light at ankle to knee height. This is the one change lighting trick I promised you. Motion-activated nightlights placed low on the wall along your pathway from bedroom to bathroom to kitchen create a gentle glow that illuminates the floor without blinding you. They turn on automatically when you start moving, so you do not have to fumble for switches in the dark. The key is placing them low, because light at floor level shows you exactly where the floor is and reveals any objects or transitions you might not see with overhead lighting. If you only do one thing after watching this video, go look at your nighttime pathway right now. Stand in your bedroom and look toward the hall. Where is the dark patch? Where does the floor seem to disappear into shadow? That is exactly where a low nightlight should go. If you have a lamp in your living room that you leave on for nighttime trips, check whether it creates glare or shadows. Sometimes simply turning that lamp to face the wall, so it creates ambient reflected light instead of direct light, makes a significant difference. I want you to pause and actually do this with me right now if you can. Look at your hallway or your bedroom doorway. Identify one spot where the light drops off or creates a shadow. That is your target for tonight. That is where you will add or adjust lighting before you go to bed, and I promise you will notice the difference the very first time you get up in the dark. Now, let me give you the brain-body reset, because lighting is only part of the solution. Even with perfect light, if your brain is still in sleep mode and your blood pressure has not adjusted to being upright, you are going to feel unsteady for those first few steps. What you need is a brief sequence that wakes up your balance system before you stand. This is not an exercise routine. This is not something that takes time or effort. It is a reset cue that tells your brain and body to come online before you ask them to support you in motion. Here is how it works. And I want you to do this with me right now so you can feel what I am describing. Sit on the edge of your bed or a sturdy chair. Plant your feet flat on the floor about hip-width apart. Now take one slow breath in through your nose, and as you exhale, gently pump your ankles, pointing your toes up toward your shins, and then pressing them back down toward the floor. Do this 5 or 6 times slowly. This simple movement activates the muscles in your calves and shins, gets blood flowing back toward your heart, and sends sensory information from your feet up to your brain. It is like turning on the engine before you try to drive the car. While you are doing this, look at a fixed target across the room, something still and stable like a door frame or a piece of furniture. Lock your eyes on that target and keep them there as you do the ankle pumps. This target focus is incredibly powerful because it gives your visual system a stable reference point, telling your brain this is what is not moving. So anything that feels like motion is coming from inside me. Take one more slow breath, and now you can stand, but do it slowly, keeping your eyes on that target. And pause for 3 to 5 seconds before you take your first step. That pause is where the magic happens. It gives your blood pressure a moment to adjust. It lets your inner ear calibrate to the upright position, and it lets your brain confirm that yes, you are stable, you are balanced, and you are ready to move. This whole sequence takes maybe 30 seconds, and it can be the difference between a confident walk to the kitchen and a shaky shuffle that scares you and increases your risk. What I just described is also your 30-second bedside test. If you do this sequence and you still feel significantly lightheaded or unsteady after standing with support for 5 seconds, that is information. That tells you that something more might be going on, whether it is a medication effect, a blood pressure issue, or something else worth mentioning to your doctor. The test itself is not diagnostic, but it gives you a way to check in with your body each night and notice if things are changing over time. The pathway behavior fix is the final piece, and in some ways it is the most important because it addresses what happens once you are actually moving through your home. Most falls do not happen because someone stood up and collapsed. They happen during the walk itself, often in the first few steps or during transitions like going through doorways, stepping around furniture, or navigating changes in flooring. The research on this is clear. Divided attention and rushing are major contributors to nighttime falls. So the pathway fix has 2 parts: changing how you move and making one quick environmental adjustment. Let me talk about movement first. When you get up at night, your goal is to get back to bed as soon as possible, and that urgency works against you. You walk faster than you should. You skip the pause that lets your brain catch up. You might carry something, like a glass or your phone, which occupies your hand and your attention. You look down at the floor instead of ahead at your destination, which shifts your head position and reduces the information your inner ear can provide. Every one of these things individually is a small risk, but together they multiply. So here is the behavior change. From now on, when you walk at night, keep one hand in contact with a stable surface whenever possible. This is not because you cannot walk without holding something. It is because that light touch gives your brain additional sensory information that dramatically improves balance accuracy. Trail your fingers along the wall as you walk down the hallway. Rest your hand on the dresser as you pass it. Let your fingertips skim the door frame as you go through. This light touch contact has been shown in clinical settings to improve stability almost as much as holding onto a handrail without requiring you to grip or lean. Keep your hands free. Do not carry things. If you need water in the night, keep a closed container on your nightstand so you do not have to walk to the kitchen. If you need your phone, leave it charging within arm's reach. Anything that keeps your hands available for support makes you safer. And keep your eyes up. Pick a visual target at the end of your path, like the bathroom door or the kitchen entrance, and walk toward it while looking at it, not down at your feet. Your peripheral vision will still catch obstacles, but your central vision on a fixed target helps your brain maintain orientation. This is the same target focus principle from the bedside reset applied now to walking. The environmental adjustment I want you to make is simple but often overlooked. Clear one object from your nighttime pathway, not your whole house, just one thing. Look at the route you typically walk at 2 in the morning and identify one item that should not be there. Maybe it is a pair of shoes left near the bedroom door. Maybe it is a small table with sharp corners right in the hallway. Maybe it is a pet bed that your cat never uses anyway, but sits right in the traffic lane. Move that one thing before you go to sleep tonight. Do not try to reorganize your whole house. Just remove one obstacle from your nighttime path. You can do another one tomorrow night, and another the next night. And within a week, you will have a clear lane that your body can trust, even when your eyes and brain are not fully awake. I want to pause here and ask you something because I am curious what your experience has been. When you feel unsteady at night, what seems to be the biggest factor for you? Is it the darkness itself? The fact that you cannot see clearly? Is it the rushing? The feeling that you need to hurry? Is it dizziness or lightheadedness when you first stand up? Or is it more of a general disorientation, like the world feels slightly off? Drop your answer in the comments, because I read them and it helps me understand what to focus on in future videos. If this information has been helpful so far, and you think it could help other people like you stay safe at home, a quick like on this video helps it reach more viewers who need it. If you are not already subscribed, consider joining so you do not miss the next one. Now let me bring everything together and give you your action plan for tonight and for the week ahead. Tonight, before you go to bed, I want you to do 3 things. Walk your nighttime pathway and identify where the dark patches are. Place or adjust one low light source to illuminate the floor in that area. Then identify one object that does not belong in that lane and move it somewhere else. That is your environment ready. Before you get into bed, practice the bedside reset sequence once so it feels familiar. Sit on the edge of your bed. Do the ankle pumps while focusing on a visual target across the room. Then stand slowly with support and pause before stepping. That is your body ready. When you actually wake up during the night, remember the pause rule. Do the reset before standing. Stand with support for a few seconds before walking. Keep one hand trailing along walls or furniture as you move. Keep your hands free and your eyes on a target ahead of you. That is your behavior ready. Over the next 7 days, I want you to repeat the bedside reset every single night until it becomes automatic. Each day, refine your lighting just a little bit more. Maybe on day 2, you adjust the angle of an existing lamp. On day 3, you add a second nightlight closer to the bathroom. On day 4, you notice there is still a shadow near the kitchen entrance and you fix it. Each night, remove one more object from your pathway until the route is completely clear. By the end of the week, notice whether your nighttime trips feel different. Many people report feeling significantly more confident within just a few nights of making these changes. If you do not notice improvement, or if you notice that you are feeling more dizzy, more lightheaded, or more disoriented than you used to, that is worth a conversation with your doctor. And if you ever experience fainting, chest pain, severe shortness of breath, sudden weakness, or numbness on one side of your body, sudden confusion, a severe headache that comes on very fast, or intense spinning vertigo that does not stop, do not wait. Seek urgent medical care because those are signs that something more serious may be happening. For most people watching this video, that is not the situation. For most of you, night balance challenges are a manageable issue with real solutions, and you now have those solutions in your hands. You understand why your brain and body operate differently in the dark hours. You know how to use light strategically. You know how to prime your balance system before you stand. And you know how to move through your home in a way that works with your body instead of against it. I am genuinely looking forward to hearing how this goes for you. Leave a comment and let me know what you try tonight and whether you notice a difference. Take care of yourself and move safely.